3, 4, 5. Why? Of all things we could say, why 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah,
5?
why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
I don't know.
Why not like, I don't want to wait. I was like this. I don't want to.
I don't know where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 came from. I'm not sure why that's the go-to. I think you could say, why not A, B, C, B, D, D, why? Why 1, 2, 3, 4? I don't know.
Why not like, I could walk 1,000 miles.
From now on, when we mic check, we're going to do that.
Just sing a song.
What up, everybody? Welcome to episode 52.
Nice.
Kramer and Jess Uncensored, baby. No jokes today. No jokes. We got nothing to joke about today. I'm going to tell you, later on this podcast, it's going to get serious. It's going to get medically serious over here. I think I may have ruined my asshole, and I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm not joking.
Oh, my God.
I don't know how to say it.
Oh, my God.
I need a doctor, not a podcast.
I can't do this anymore. I literally can't do this anymore. Remember last week when he wanted to talk about nipples?
Oh, yeah.
Now
What body part today, baby?
Now he's like, I think I ruined my asshole. Like, can you just leave me alone?
I don't know what happens. I don't know that part of the body that well. Some of y'all may. I don't.
Stuff's probably just going to come out without you.
God!
Even...
It's not even that. Okay, we'll get into it. We'll get into it in a minute. Hang on. Hi. Welcome to the show. This is obviously uncensored. In case you're new to our podcast, how do you describe like the podcast versus the radio show?
Uncensored is the close friends on IG.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know how you post certain things on Facebook and you're like, hey, just tried this new Korean barbecue spot with my friend. That's like very Facebook. And over here is like, I think I ruined my asshole. So that would be the difference.
That literally just made my asshole hurt laughing at that.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody on YouTube. By the way, we have a YouTube show as well. If you want to come interact with us live as we do it, it happens about 10:45 Eastern time on Wednesdays. Johnny E checking in. Johnny E.
Johnny's in the building.
Lexi is here, and Shannon D, and
hey, girl.
Rosa's here, and Claudia. Thank you guys for checking in. We'll talk about my asshole in just a little bit.
Oh my God. My eye literally just started twitching.
Before we do, I'm not even trying to joke around with this, man. Like, I'm trying to be serious. It's not good. It's not good. And we'll come back in just a little bit, all right?
Okay.
Before we... Oh, hi, everybody. Mike's here, and somebody's here from Lake Lanier. That's Georgia. Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys checking in today. Let's talk about open relationships again. Let's go to a lighter topic for a second.
Yes.
And the reason we're talking about open relationships is actually a follow-up from a couple of episodes ago where we were talking about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith and how they are...
Yeah, Will is featured in like a somewhat recent issue of GQ and basically talked about and addressed, when Jada kind of was in the headlines of having an entanglement with August Alsina. And everyone was all up in arms about that. But actually, it was basically on the terms of their marriage. And Will Smith had entanglements of his own. And then after that, basically said they don't ever want marriage to feel like a prison to them.
Yeah.
And so they used to be just monogamous and now have evolved into other things. And so Kramer, Lowkey, was considering, being in an open relationship. And I thought that in order to talk about this, we should talk to someone who is open to open relationships and actually has experience with that, because that's the only way to really get that perspective.
What I said was that I did have a listener hit me up like a while ago, and she was like, hey, like it kind of turned from like low-key, I'm a listener, into like, hey, we should meet up. And then I was like, you literally have pictures of you and your husband,
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And then she's like, oh, no, we have like an agreement. And I'm like,
And it was new. This is new for her, too.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't really know. But then I'm like, is that maybe the worst thing that could happen? Because y'all know me. I can't really handle like anything way serious right now. So maybe it's not the worst idea. But Jess was saying like,
no, I think open relationships, if that's what you want to do, it's a beautiful thing. But I feel like if you can't handle it as a person, then it's not the way to go. And personally, knowing you as well as I do, I don't know if you could handle not being number one.
So Jess says, I've got the perfect expert to come on the podcast for today. And Jess, you want to introduce your guest?
Yes, this is one of my best friends in the entire freaking world. His name is Jerrelle. and he is Nike model, yoga freaking master of the world, behavioral therapist, just an all amazing human being. And he is like, he's been in open relationships and has experience with that world. So I wanted to kind of, get him on and talk to us through that.
Yeah, of all the things that we could be talking to you about with all those accolades, we literally like, okay, well, tell us about the time you effed somebody into marriage.
So talk us about how many people have you fucked at the same time?
like
what?
Wow, geez. After all that big setup. What's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, glad to be here. Glad to be here. How are you guys?
Yeah, I wish it maybe on lighter terms next time. Sorry. So explain to us, I guess, your background with open relationships then.
I was in an open marriage, and
you were in, like, you and your partner had an agreement that was going to be
that the marriage was open.
Okay.
The marriage was open, yeah.
So what does that mean? What were you allowed to do?
We were open before we were married, and we were open while we were married as well.
Okay.
So that meant that like she had a girlfriend, and I had someone that I talked to. I wasn't necessarily like I wasn't like necessarily in a relationship, but I just talked to different people.
Mm-hmm.
And
wait, she had a girlfriend, and like, what does that mean? Yeah. She had a girlfriend. Like, what was their relationship?
Like dynamic.
Like their dynamic was like, they talked and texted all day, and like, like.
Were they intimate?
I don't know. They were intimate.
And like, he's like, yeah.
He's like, obviously, what the fuck you think this is?
Well, how much did she come home to you every night, or was it like a split? How did that work?
No, so like she would come home. It was, she came home to me every night, and then there was just like some nights where she'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna stay over here," and I'm like, "All right, cool, have a good night."
And you weren't smashing nobody else?
I didn't say that.
Okay, forgive me. So you had a girl that you were talking to that was like a companion?
I'm bisexual. I had a guy that I was talking to.
A guy. Okay.
I wasn't necessarily, so I necessarily wasn't with someone sexually. But no, I was definitely talking to multiple people at a time.
And so
we had come to that.
You were just kind of dating, yeah? And she was like in a committed something else.
Yeah, I was just kind of dating and kind of really just starting to understand. I really wanted to understand what it was, what I liked.
Yeah.
Sexually,
Right.
But she kind of really already had like the solidification understood.
Right.
Which was cool.
Whose idea was that, by the way? Was it yours or hers? That like we should.
She initially had brought it up.
Wow. And like, at what point?
But like the way that she had brought it up was like we both were laughing. Like we both were like, "Are you serious?
Like, is this something that we want to do? Yeah.
Is this something that we really want to do? Because like we were living long distance at the time, and she had like called me one day, and she's like, "So if I was to get a girlfriend," she's like, hypothetically speaking, like, would you be upset? And like at the time, I was like, nah, just let me know what's going on.
The communication has to be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just let me know what's going on, and I'm totally gonna be cool with it. But like,
well, when into your relationship was that whole haha, this would be funny if, wasn't it? If we just I just went over and.
It was 3 years into the relationship.
And were you married, or what was the?
No, we were engaged.
Engaged, okay. And she's like, wouldn't this be so silly if I like went over and scissor with
not
another
so
woman?
Silly, but just like, just like very interesting. Just like,
would you be down?
Okay.
Like would you, like, would this offend you? Because if it offended you, then no. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't have a jealous bone in my body.
So you're just like, cool, all right. Which
it was like curiosity on both people, right?
Yeah, it's a curiosity. Yeah, great. Because like, if your partner is, if you have a jealous bone in your body, or if you feel like I have to be, like, I need to be number one.
Kramer.
and there's no other person, then you can't do this. Like there's just no way. You know what I mean?
Because all of your bones are jealous. Is that is that a problem or
what happens if I don't want her even looking at nobody else in the eyeball?
Yeah. What else? I just want to lock her in a basement. Is that
you psychopath?
Is
yeah,
that
but
healthy,
that's
or?
not a good idea.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
So-
those are not good ideas.
Well, she
Yeah.
presents it to
can't do
you. I mean, had you in your mind ever thought like, maybe I should bring it up to her? Like, has it ever, or were you completely?
I never
caught
thought
off
that I
guard?
should bring it up. I never thought that I should bring that up to her, but like I kind of already knew that like we both would be okay with it just because of like the individuals that we are. Like, me and her both had already talked about
Exploring.
Exploring. We had already talked about both of us being bisexual individuals.
Yeah.
In various ways, and so.
Damn, that's tight.
So
That
at the
conversation-
foundation,
the conversation was-
they were already like both of them identify as bisexual. So I guess for them it would be
Okay.
an easier conversation to have. It's not like it was out of the blue to be like,
Yeah.
should we explore this in our relationship?
Okay, all right, makes sense.
Right.
So she brings it up, and you're just like, cool, let's try it out. So
Mm-hmm.
she, I mean, would it be a safe assumption to think that she already had somebody in mind, or she was talking to? Do you think she was already?
You know what? Let's see, like now, post everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would think yes.
Yes,
I would
she
think
did.
hell yes.
Yeah.
And yes, she did, and 100% she did. And I wish that I had just been more open, like even more like thoughtful. Like, oh man, she already had someone in mind. Like, dang, that's interesting.
So she pitched it as like maybe we should start
Maybe
today.
we should.
But like,
Yeah,
she
maybe
obviously had probably-
maybe this would be a cool idea.
Yeah, but
Like, when
meanwhile,
she first pitched it,
When actually
when she first
it had
pitched
already
it
been in the
was
works.
very- Right. So when she first pitched it, it was like a laughing conversation, and then the next time, like we had a conversation because we're long distance, so it was like 2 or 3 days later, we talked for like 3 hours about it because I was like, okay, well, what are the rules? What's this?
yeah.
Are you allowed? Because like there's rules, right? Because you can still get cheated on in an open relationship.
Okay, so then what?
Very
so
much
you
so.
guys sat down, and so what rules did you establish then?
We didn't establish a rule, like the rules very clearly until later on, but like some of the rules were like no people ever in the same house with you.
No people, like, no.
So the extra is not in your home
Ever.
Like you go to the
The
extra
extra
house
is not in your home.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because like
because that's y'all's home.
that's our home.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. fair enough.
Another one was like when we're seeking the attention. So like if I'm with her, I can't be trying to get the attention of this other person or like texting this other person or
Okay.
like it's between
So
like, we're spending time with
When
each
you guys
other.
are together, you're together.
Yeah.
But then like you
We're
have.
together.
So did you have to ask for designated time apart, or is it just like, hey, so on Friday I'm gonna go out with old Susie over here?
He said Susie.
Well, yeah,
Like, I
I guess
don't
she had to ask me to go out with old Susie. Like that was important because if you didn't tell me, then like I would assume that we were just going to spend time together.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
All
like,
right.
and there's nothing wrong with asking for, like saying like, ooh, like I wanted to go spend time with old Susie. Like,
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And then, well, what
I just needed to know.
the first time that she then, or who was the first person to be like, all right, cool, well, this Friday, this is it, this is the big old.
Her.
Her.
Okay. And so, how did that conversation go? And how long after the whole, hey, we should, was this?
It wasn't very long, and
The next day.
It just was a simple well, actually the first real conversation was not very simple. The first real conversation was like, because we had moved back in, because I had gotten, it wasn't, when we were long distance, it was easier because I didn't have to think about what she was doing, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Once we were married and we're living together, and like I like realized that like she was like gone, and like we had talked about it, and I was like, oh, like how was that? Like,
Well,
give me some heads up that you're gonna go, just so that I could be mentally prepared, because it was different than when I was further away.
well,
But
you mentioned,
being
you
in the
said,
same space.
you said that like it seemed like there's difference between open relationships and being cheated on, and so I don't know how this story ends, but it doesn't sound by your tone that it's a happy ending to the story.
No, it was not a happy ending to
No,
the story
it was
because
not a happy ending. It was not a happy ending to the story. But I don't necessarily blame our open relationship, I blame her miscommunication in various ways. And also blame, my lack of communication and understanding and the depth of the relationship as a whole as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and so it wasn't necessarily because of
the openness
that.
of it. Well, well, then what actually did happen? What was the nail in the coffin?
Of what you want to
The
share.
nail in the coffin, at least in my opinion, was
Careful.
I would say careful.
I feel like it's one of those careful.
Careful. I would say the nail in the coffin was, Jess.
Whatever you want to say. Don't act like.
How many nails were in the coffin?
Whatever
Hello.
I mean.
So, but it had nothing. You're telling me it had nothing to do with the openness. Like literally, that could have been a complete. Like that could have been.
I would say honestly, it was. So whereas she was more so okay with her bisexuality and her open relationship, once I really started talking to like one dude, and like I was very open about me talking to him.
Yes.
She
could not have been more open.
Could not handle that.
Then
like,
all
that
of a sudden it wanted to switch up and change up a bit.
So wait, so she had been in this relationship, and in the second that you were like, hey, there's this one guy now that I'm kind of interested in or whatever.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden she's like,
well,
whoa. So all the jealous bones started coming out.
So that's where the issue is, where it's like
if
it's going to be an open relationship
at various times. And then would, then would renege on what she had said. So, it's okay for you to go and, you should try this, you should try this, you should try this. And then I would go and do it and tell her about it. Well, it wasn't that great an experience. And then she'd be like, I can't believe you could go and do that and do that. And I'm like, you told me. You told me. So once again, this is where my knowledge of if you can't handle it to begin with, then you can't handle it.
So you truly the whole time had no issue with it.
There was a time when I had an issue with it, but that was only because I was made to feel like I was second in the relationship.
Okay.
And
what did that look like?
And that just looked like a lack of communication on her part, telling me okay, I'm gonna spend some extra days over there, or when we're sitting next to each other, it's breaking the rules that we had set. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right.
So it's breaking those rules. It's not clearly communicating what you're doing. It's floating. So it's saying, the person that you were with, you go, you're like, I'm going to be with them just as a friend now. Or, nope, I've changed my mind. I'm not just friends with them. I'm going back to being in a relationship with them.
So it's kind of just
stuff like that
all
makes
over the
it.
Place.
Yeah.
To where you didn't know what the truth was. Yeah.
You have to be clear. And so then you start to, me as a person, I'm like, so are you a friend with them or are you lying? And then now I'm questioning you as a liar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so all of those things kind of fall into place. They all kind of fall into, if communication is super streamlined and, we know exactly, I have a friend and she's been in an open relationship for some time. And, actually, I have a couple friends who've been in open relationships for some time.
Is this common?
Yes, it is so common.
So, what? Is there a situation similar, the same kind of thing, where, one
has had, a boyfriend for X amount of years, and, her husband knows all about it, and, they're very open. She goes and travels with him and, all this stuff. And then the other one, she doesn't have a boyfriend, but she has a couple different, men that she is with. And her husband has a couple different girls that he's been, with. But their communication and their boundaries are very much set and communicated. The rules are not blurred. They're very clear, defined lines. And so.
And you felt in your situation. You felt in your situation that they were clear to you, but to her, they started getting blurry, and that's where it kind of got messed up. Do you think that if she were to stick to the initial rules, that you guys would have been okay?
Yeah, I think so. I think if we stuck to the initial rules, if we had better communication around certain things, if we were just, if we were okay with being who we were at that time, I was learning about myself,
Yeah.
but definitely okay with myself. But I feel like if she was truly okay with her bisexuality as a person, she would have been much a happier person,
Right?
And things wouldn't have been the way that they are. But even post-marriage, I mean, I've been with married people who are in open relationships.
So you have been on the other side of it too.
Like the side.
Oh yeah, I've been on both sides.
Okay, well then take us to the other side then. Wait, really quick, go back to your situation really quick for 1 second. Do you feel like your bisexuality played into the openness of this situation? For example, if you guys were both straight, do you think the situation would have been the same? Or is it more of a, well, we both want to explore other things anyway, we're both interested in other things?
Well, seeing as how one of my friends who's been doing it the most successful for the longest time,
yeah,
they're both straight.
So maybe not.
I think, their rules are, once again, their rules are defined. Like, she knows, if her boyfriend makes her upset, she can't take it out on her husband.
Right.
She can talk to her husband about it, and, he can, counsel her on, what to do, but, she can't take the anger out on him. There's just, I think my sexuality played a little bit into it,
right,
but not necessarily wasn't the main.
But not every situation.
I don't think how you identify sexually really matters on if you're open to trying it or not. I think it's all about personality and your preference and communication if it's going to be successful.
Well, then on the other side, so you've been a part of other people's open relationships too. And what is that like? Is that because that's the part I question. I'm like, could
because that was the opportunity he was presented.
Yeah, you like it.
I like that. It's so much
easier.
Yeah.
See, it seems like it's I feel like that's when we get more the fun stories because it's just not as it's not as serious for you at least.
So much easier. I don't have to have the same stress.
Yeah.
Of worrying, you know what I mean? I'm not really in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm not really in your relationship.
Unless
you are my two friends, you know what I mean? Unless you're my two friends who actually have a boyfriend and girlfriend, and I'm just here for when we want to have fun. We can still go out, we can go do stuff, have fun, and when it's over at the end of the night, it's over at the end of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And never once did you ever want more in these situations, even though you knew you couldn't have it? I mean, do you ever find yourself, because that's the fear I have, is that let's say I were to try
every
this.
once in a yeah, okay, but here's the deal. So every once in a while, you're ooh, I want something. I wouldn't say necessarily relationship-wise more, but every once in a while, I crave you in a different way, you know.
Right.
And I can't have you because you're with Trish over here, and but then you remember that you are also a single individual who can go do what you want. And so you go do what you want. And there's no implications of not having to call somebody and be ooh,
hey,
do you mind about
and I did this.
Right.
You get to do what you want, and that's what's the cool thing.
So would you ever be in an open relationship again? Are you into it again, even though it sounds like you had a fail?
No, it's funny. So my parents, my dad's I don't know how. He's I don't understand this whole multiple partner thing.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. And I'm yeah, because it's not for you.
Right.
But for me, I don't necessarily want to put all of my eggs in one basket.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want for someone to feel like they have to be my 100%, because that's a lot of pressure to tell someone that you need to be everything I need you to be. And if you're not going to be that, it's going to be a disappointment. And a lot of people have that feeling of okay, I don't ever want to be somebody 100%. And so that's where open relationships become a little bit easier, because then you're ooh,
Jerrelle, what is your
options.
Long term? What is your ideal situation?
Ooh, my ideal situation.
Yes.
As of right now, at my big age, I would say my ideal situation is to go to sleep, and then I roll over in the morning, and there's a girlfriend on the left-hand side, and then, like, you know, I kiss her, and then I roll over to the right-hand side, and there's a guy, and that's just what I want.
And do you think that's doable? Like you want like a serious relationship with two different people. You don't want just like a side thing, like a main person, a side thing. You kind of just, it sounds like you want like two main people. Is that right?
There could be two side things, but two consistent side things. I'm not necessarily looking for anything serious, like ever truly again.
Yeah.
I'm definitely like if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
But I'm also just not. I'm not like super looking for it hardcore.
Yeah.
But you
I'm
want two
open
partners.
to just having a. Yeah, I just want like a partner. I want to have like my kids and like I'll live my life very the way that I am.
Well, how would that work with kids? Like, how do you envision that? We talked about this person on the left, this person on the right. Where the hell are the kids during all this?
I mean, like my kids don't have to be like. They're not gonna be like in the bed with me, but I mean, like,
would they know about this? Like, would they be clear about like your lifestyle with this, or would you like?
I mean,
and who's having the kids?
So
which one? I guess obviously the woman is, but
yeah, and like coming up with someone who teaches kids on a daily basis. Like, I would wait until they're at a developmentally appropriate age to explain to them everything that's going on. Which honestly, kids are a lot better, especially now because we take the time to explain to them different things.
Right.
They would understand different lifestyles. Like, also, I mean, like, I'm not gonna say like I would have both people in the bed at the same time. I was speaking like maybe hypothetically, like like one day there's a guy.
Sure.
And one
Yeah.
there's a girl, and like, but I wouldn't mind being a single parent like as a person.
Well, I mean, listen, you make it sound like you got a plan. Like, there's nothing about this that makes me feel. I mean, obviously, the one thing I think we learned today is like you got to have rules and you got to stick to those rules, because if you don't stick to those rules, then you might as well then you're cheating.
And
but
it
like,
has to be what you want too, and
it has to be what you want,
and what the other person wants. It has to be like a mutual understanding. Like, you can't, like, both people have to want to be in the open relationship. I don't think one person can be on the fence and the other be like full throttle, because it's just not gonna work.
Right.
Oh yeah, it will not work. It will not work.
Jess, how does that make you feel? If
how do I feel about my friend's lifestyle?
Yeah,
I support it 100%. And like, honestly, I think it's taken so long for us to get here. I say us as in like, like,
yes, because she's been on the ride. She's been on the ride, y'all.
And it gives me nothing but joy and happiness to know that my friend has clarity on what makes him happy and who he wants to be with. And like, if that means he has a relationship, like a loving relationship with a woman that he has kids with, and then also has like a boyfriend at the same time, and everyone is happy and everyone is cool with everything, and it's like a loving, healthy situation, then that I am all for it, always.
So then what happens if Garage Boy comes to you and says, listen, Jess. Like,
Garage is like, I want another peen in the vagine.
I want to put, I want my peen in a different vagine.
But see.
Or vice versa.
Bitch, tell me why.
Knowing him,
exactly,
that's never going to happen.
Exactly, that's the thing. Okay. Before you go into hypotheticals, but this is the perfect example of like, I am not that, and he is not that, which is why we are together, because all we want is one vagine and one peen only.
Are you sure?
Yes, Jerrelle, can you please?
100%.
I don't know that any guy is 100%. I just want one vagine.
Jerrelle, can you please explain to this person?
Kramer, I have known Gerald longer than I've known Jess. I've known Gerald since I was in 5th grade.
Yeah.
And like, there's no other person that like him and I've had like very good conversations that were like, it's just like, I don't see no other person except for Jessica. And Jessica's 100%. I don't see no other person except for Gerald. Like, and I don't understand how.
A year and a half.
No, but not even like a Gerald aside. I've always been like a one person ever.
This is the one
person,
ever.
Like and so has he.
Let's
and
play,
that's the way he has been.
Hypothetically, let's say in 5 years, like, it's getting kind of boring. I want to spice things up.
Yeah,
okay?
I'd be like, no, bitch.
So no, there's no way. But you hear it with Jerrelle, and you're like, this is fine.
Yeah, that's fine, because that's what Jerrelle wants, and I know that he's going to be. Yeah, and I know that he's going to be with a partner that's going to be as fluid.
Okay.
I am not fluid. I want one.
Okay.
I want one.
I'm just
I want
taking-
one, and I don't. It's like, so.
Jerrelle's like, I want them all.
I get that.
All
Yeah.
shapes and
And,
sizes.
and catch
There's-
them all.
The
catch
peens,
them.
the
Yeah.
vagines, all
Look,
of them. I want them all. I want
I'm
them
out.
all.
I'm out here. I'm out here in these streets.
Yeah,
And I think
all the streets. You're literally going up and down every street, it sounds like. So
every street, honestly.
It's been
Multiple
interesting.
streets.
It's been interesting to hear like on both sides what it's like. And I mean, I don't know. Like again, one opportunity. But I will say, even on dating apps, there's a lot of people on there saying the same thing about where I'm just looking for, for a third. I'm looking for a third.
Yeah.
So I think it's becoming, at least in my, Will Smith's willing to come out and just say it. Somebody that's always stood at this like, we are the pinnacle of relationships. Will and Jada have always been like that. Oh my God.
I mean, yes, but like other people made them that. It's not like Will and Jada were like, yes, we are the idea that you have put us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
kind of been
the
issue.
thing, and I
Right.
think that is
Look at
the
them like-
issue.
But we've idolized
There
them
is
as that.
no such
so
thing as an ideal this
Situation.
yeah,
This
no,
is the ideal situation.
no.
No matter what, it's all very case by case, very person by person.
Yeah.
So that's why Gerald and Jess are perfect for each other, because their personalities and their alignment match up really nicely.
Right.
And
Like what you want.
my friends were telling me, they're like, because getting on my marriage, I was like, man, I'm never gonna find someone who wants to be in the same relationship style that I want. And then my friends were like, yes, you will.
Yeah.
Someone will align with you. And I'm like, now being out here a
Out
little
in the
bit more,
streets.
dating wise and stuff, I'm out here in these streets. I'm like, you know what?
It is possible.
It's actually possible. It's possible.
How do you date like that then?
I'm very honest. So I tell people hey, after we've been on a few dates, if we get to a few dates,
You meet them on like a dating app?
I try to meet people in person.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you meet in person.
Every time I've talked to someone on a dating app, I stop talking to you.
Okay.
And
So
it's not even them. It's me.
Yeah,
I just
because it's just not
quit the
how you
conversation.
are. Yeah, like you need that vibe and that energy, person to person, for
So-
you.
so you
yeah,
meet people in
and
real life and you
I
go on-
stop talking.
you go on a couple of dates and then you're like, hey, by the way, I want peen and vagine.
No, they know it. So my sexuality up front.
Okay,
Mhm.
so straight
Very
up.
much so.
Here's what I'm. Okay, this is what I'm about. I'm
Yeah.
bisexual.
So I'm bisexual. People. So one, there's a very big stigma against bisexual people, in both the straight and gay land.
Okay.
I literally have been told, wow, so you can cheat on me with both sexes, and I'm like,
Yep.
you
You're
can
like,
cheat.
yep.
You can cheat on me with one sex.
Hello.
What
Damn.
is that? What's the difference?
Yeah.
You still would be cheating.
Yeah.
They're like, no, but yours is worse because you can do with multiple people or different people. And I'm like,
Sure.
doesn't mean I'm going to cheat.
Right. Yeah. So you put it out
If
there, and
it's
then
the-
you kind of feel their vibe, but you're like, hey, here's what I want. But you wait for a couple of days. Do you feel like that's being a little dishonest if you're not upfront with that on date one?
No, because on date one, for me, date one is let me feel out your vibe. Because if we
Right.
go back on date number two, and we've been talking, and I like you, and I actually see going on date number two,
Right.
then that's different.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been very intriguing. Very intriguing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you for sharing.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being honest about this.
I
'Cause
love
I think
you.
it's interesting to hear. I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed.
Can you handle it though?
No,
I
we
don't know.
cannot.
I don't
Can you
know.
really see
Probably
yourself
not.
doing it?
But
No,
could
we cannot.
could I? I don't think that I. Here's the thing. I 1,000% could not deal with me being in a relationship and that woman going off and doing anything else. I
No.
for sure could not handle that. The question is, could I handle
Being the side piece.
the side piece in a situation where because right now my life's so crazy anyway. I don't have time for anything serious. So could I do that? Because then it can't get serious. It could actually be an ideal situation.
Yeah,
you know?
but unless you want it to be serious, it'll be cool until it's not.
Let me tell you, because if I would say, have fun while you can have fun, because
Yeah.
that's just me as a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say have fun while you can have fun, but the moment you start to notice yourself in the middle of the night, oh, wonder what's she doing?
Yeah.
Then it's a
right.
problem.
Yeah.
Then you can't do that.
I guess so.
Then you can't do
Well,
it.
I'll keep you posted.
You
Maybe
can't do
we can text back and forth about some tips because I don't know.
I mean,
If it ever like
I'm
comes
totally
up
down.
again, like I don't know. I don't know that it will, but it's interesting. Thank you, dude. Thank you for hopping on early over there. Thank you for hopping on and talking about this today. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you guys for having me on. It was nice talking to you.
I love you.
Man.
Love you too.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, could you ever handle that?
No, that's why it's not for me.
Because, like, part of me, I wouldn't be mad because you're like, would it be okay for me to have, like, a partner and then me have other partners? That part I wouldn't be mad about, right?
Obviously.
But could I handle my wife going out and being with other people? Hell no. Hell no. There's a 0% chance.
No.
Anyway, that was interesting. That was really interesting. Let's take a break. We'll come back and talk about my butthole in a second, okay?
Great.
You don't want to talk about it?
Not really, but
Have you ever given yourself an enema before?
actually, can you explain to me what that is
I'd love
fully?
to.
Because
I'd love
I
to.
don't.
Thanks
I
for asking,
haven't,
Jess. I thought you would never ask.
and I don't really know.
I told Jess that yesterday was like top 3, like one of the most uncomfortable days of my life. Let me get dramatic music for this because I feel like this is exactly how my butthole felt. I became what some may call hang on, I gotta find where's like drama music. Is me versus my butthole yesterday. Found myself being a little constipated.
Okay. So you have to go to the doctor for that to do that?
No, you don't.
You can get it at home?
You do it yourself, Jess.
You pick it up from the doctors? Or you can just pick this shit up at Target?
You can go to Target. I chose CVS.
Ooh.
I actually had it delivered because I couldn't
You can stand to be
take
seen with it in
myself over
public?
there. Yeah. To do it.
Okay.
The problem I had yesterday, and I think I talk about it more in Certified Mama's Boy, so I won't waste a lot of time on it. I think I've been having stomach problems, so I've been taking too many Tums, and apparently, like, Tums are calcium, which will calcify your insides. Took too many because I'm just like, whatever, my stomach hurts. Let me just take some every time I feel a little bit of pain. Blah, blah, blah. Literally, I went home yesterday. I'm doing a cleanse right now, too. So what happened was, you have to imagine this, is I've got, like, this top part that's, like, ready to come out. I'm taking like different fibers and stuff. Like it's trying to come down. But the part at the bottom, that's like where the Tums are. It's like it ain't coming out.
Ew.
So I'm working on like double things here.
Ew.
So I went to go buy like a regular laxative, right? One you could just take, and I thought that'd be it. But then I read the label, and it said it's going to take 1 to 3 days.
Oh, well, that's
And I'm like,
terrifying. So you don't know when it's going to happen.
what am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
I don't have that much time. Like I don't
No.
have.
You can't. What if you're driving?
Yeah, like or anything, like. But then this needs to come out like now. So I knew the only option that I had was to go forward and do an enema. Now I've done one before. That was a long time, like 15 years ago. I had a date that night, and I was just not good. And I was like, I need to like handle this. So let me just have you picture this, okay? It's like a bottle. It's probably like a douche, if you will, or similar. It's like a bottle of something. I don't know what it is. It's got a little tip on the end of it. About that long right there. About, how's that, 3 inches maybe?
Okay.
Okay? And then you have to get down on like, almost like downward dog yoga.
Yes,
okay? But like you're down, like, you know that like super sexy position?
So then wait, do you like sit on it?
No. Oh, no. You have to reach around with this bottle in your hand. Shove it into your asshole.
So you could have just sat on it.
No. There's 2 positions. You can do the downward dog one, or you can do this one like on your left-hand side. Because it has to like get into your bowels. It needs to like have a downward slope.
So basically this bottle goes inside of your asshole?
Yes.
And then what?
Then you sit there and you squeeze
Oh, you have something.
this
and it,
liquid
like, in there?
into your asshole.
Okay.
Okay, you with me?
Yeah.
All right. I did that, and it's what you have to do then. Here's the worst part. So you squeeze, and like it does not come out fast. So you're sitting here with this thing in your asshole for like a long time. Like it probably took me 2 minutes.
Okay.
And then what it says after that is it says you have to wait. It says wait about 1 to 5 minutes of like
For something to happen.
your butt.
Obviously.
It's like it said until you feel like you've really like the urge is extreme or something. Like, I don't know.
And is this like painful?
Jess, I don't do a lot of butt stuff.
So you're probably in like excruciating pain.
It's an untapped area down there. You know what I mean? Like I'm yeah, it's painful. And so I do it, and then I'm like, oh boy, here it comes. And so then I do, and
it works.
I mean, but it was still like a push. And this is like after an hour of pushing, okay? Like
what's wrong with you?
It's not good, right? So that happens, and I'm like, okay, like, and I mean, like, everything came out. I mean, I feel like the lunch I just ate.
Good.
Like,
move on.
It like came out my nose.
I got it.
It was out. I think I broke my asshole. Like my.
I would assume that's probably some of the side effects that like it's not going to feel good after.
The butt. Well, this is what made me wonder. I don't want to get like, but I want to have a serious conversation about this because.
Yeah, please be respectful.
No, but there's people that do this for fun.
Really?
Yes, not enemas, but like people, gay people, two men.
You're talking about like butts.
Yes, women, people do it. Nothing about yesterday. Nothing was pleasurable. Today, I literally like. I'm walking weird. I'm walking weird today.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because you don't know if anything's gonna fall out.
It hurts. It like literally hurts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, two things. Number one, I don't know how people do this on a regular basis. People that can get enjoyment from this, obviously it's a different experience.
Yeah,
you're not
obviously
sitting on your bathroom floor and downward dog.
Yeah.
But I'm genuinely, because you know me, I'm quite the hypochondriac, right? So now I'm like, do I need to like call my doctor and be like, hey,
this is what's going on?
So I tried to do this. I think honestly, if anything, it was just the strain of it all of yesterday.
You probably ripped something.
But I'm like, what do I do?
I don't know.
What does one do over here? I don't even know. But and it is not extreme pain, but it is not good. My butthole's not good today.
Doesn't sound good.
And I don't know, like, what would you do? Someone that's not a hypochondriac in this situation. What does a normal person do?
Normal person just waits probably if something stings in a month maybe. But
a month?
I mean, I wouldn't expect your asshole to be normal for like at least a week, I would assume, because I don't know what the fuck you did. I don't know what the fuck's going on, so I would just chill for a minute. I don't know. I really don't know what to tell you. Really,
can you imagine?
I'm at a loss for words right now.
Can you imagine, though? Doing it to yourself is tricky.
I don't want to imagine.
Like, I'm sure if someone had to give me an enema, it might be one thing.
That's so shitty.
Get it?
Yeah, I know.
So anyway, that's my life. But I mean, I guess some people enjoy that area. That is
yeah, it's because it's different. You're not trying to like.
But it's funny because
get your insides out.
Like as a guy, I'm like, it'd be fun to like do that to someone else. I'll never request that anymore. I will.
Yeah. Maybe now you can be more understanding.
I'll never.
It's a lot.
I'm damaged. Damaged goods.
Go figure that out.
Darren wants to know what he walked into.
I'm just not. I don't even want to tell you. I'm not happy about it.
My asshole hurts.
It's not okay.
Johnny E, look at this guy. To talk about nipples. F this shitty topic. Get it? Okay. All right, we gotta go. Jess has to get her nails done.
Bye.
And I gotta go get something.
Yeah, go clean yourself.
Hey, thanks for listening to this ridiculous episode. No, honestly, I think the first part was super, super interesting. You know what I mean? So, all right, you can get Jess where, Jessica?
At Just Do It, JESSDUITT, my Lowkey podcast.
I'm that guy Kramer, Certified Mama's Boy podcast, and we love you. Thank you for being here. We'll see you back here next week for 53, baby. Bye, everybody on YouTube. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.